Have you ever wondered why some men don't chase, don't impress, don't try hard at all, yet women naturally feel drawn to them? Not because they are perfect, not because they say clever lines, but because of something deeper, quieter, and far more powerful. Most men grow up believing attraction is something you earn. You work for it, you prove yourself for it, you perform, adjust, and sometimes even beg for it without realizing you are doing it. And every time it doesn't work, a silent thought grows stronger inside you. Maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm missing something everyone else has. That thought slowly drains confidence. It makes you hesitate. It makes you overthink every word, every message, every moment of silence. But here is the truth no one tells you. Attraction is not created by effort. It is created by emotional energy. Women don't respond to how much you want them. They respond to how grounded you are within yourself. They feel drawn to certainty, calm, and emotional safety, not loud confidence, not arrogance, quiet confidence, the kind that does not need approval to exist. Right now, you might feel tired of trying, tired of chasing conversations that go nowhere, tired of wondering why interest fades even when you are being nice, respectful, and present. That frustration is not a flaw. It is a signal, a sign that you are ready to learn something deeper, something that actually works. The world teaches men to add more effort, more attention, more words. Attraction works in the opposite direction. It grows when pressure disappears. It grows when neediness fades. It grows when you stop trying to control the outcome and start standing firmly in who you are. This is not about playing games. This is about emotional alignment. Deep down, you want more than attention. You want to be chosen without forcing it. You want to feel desired without chasing. You want to walk into interactions feeling calm instead of anxious, strong instead of unsure, free instead of dependent on her reaction. That feeling is not reserved for a few lucky men. It is built, and it begins with understanding one simple law. People feel what you feel about yourself. If you doubt yourself, they sense it. If you are at peace with yourself, they relax around you. If you are grounded, they lean in. Attraction follows emotional leadership. And emotional leadership starts inside you, not with what you say, but with the energy behind it. There are two simple words that shift this energy instantly, not because they manipulate, not because they impress, but because they communicate something rare and powerful: self-respect, emotional independence, calm certainty. These words remove pressure, they dissolve fear, they quietly tell the other person, I am enough, with or without this outcome. When you understand this, everything changes. Conversations feel lighter, silence stops feeling threatening. Rejection loses its power. Interest grows naturally without force. And the most important shift happens inside you. You stop chasing validation. You start attracting connection. If you stay with this until the end, you won't just learn what to say. You'll understand why it works. And once you understand why it works, you will never interact from fear again. You will move differently, speak differently, feel differently. And that difference is exactly what attraction responds to. That shift you just felt is important because it exposes the real reason so many efforts collapse before attraction even has a chance to grow. Most men don't fail because they lack value. They fail because they unknowingly communicate fear. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough, and fear always leaks through behavior, no matter how confident the words sound. When you chase, when you try to impress, when you explain yourself too much, your nervous system is doing the talking. Psychology is clear on this. Human beings are wired to sense emotional pressure. The moment someone feels pressure, their instinct is to pull away. Not because they are cruel, because autonomy matters. Desire only exists when it is freely chosen. The harder you push, the more resistance you create. Think about how many times you believed effort would be rewarded. You replied fast. You stayed available. You gave reassurance before it was asked for. You adjusted yourself to keep interest alive. And at first it may have worked. Attention came back, messages flowed, hope rose. But slowly something shifted. Replies shortened, energy cooled, interest faded, and you were left confused, replaying every detail, wondering where you went wrong. What went wrong was never you. It was the signal you sent without realizing it. Chasing sends a message of imbalance. It quietly says, you are more valuable than me. Impressing says, I need to earn my place. Proving says, please don't leave. These messages don't create desire. They create emotional weight. And weight suffocates attraction. The mind responds to polarity. Confidence versus uncertainty. Calm versus urgency. Presence versus pressure. When you lean in too hard, polarity collapses. Attraction needs space to breathe. This is why emotional availability is attractive, but emotional dependence is not. One feels safe, the other feels heavy. There is nothing weak about wanting connection, but there is danger in needing it to feel whole. The moment your self-worth depends on her reaction, you hand over your power. And power is not about control. Power is about self-trust. It's about knowing you are okay whether interest grows or fades. That inner stability is what people feel before they ever hear your words. Your brain has been trained to believe that doing more increases results. But attraction operates under a different rule. Doing less, but being more, creates magnetism. Less explanation, less justification. Less attachment to outcome, more presence, more groundedness, more certainty in who you are. When you stop chasing, something surprising happens. Anxiety quiets. You stop monitoring every signal. You stop reading meaning into silence. You stop trying to fix imaginary problems. And in that calm state, your energy changes. You listen differently. You speak with clarity instead of tension. You allow things to unfold instead of forcing them. This is not about playing hard to get. It is about being hard to shake internally. When rejection no longer threatens your identity, attraction begins to feel safe to others, because confidence without aggression and calm without indifference creates trust. And this is where everything turns. Because once you understand that chasing pushes people away, you realize the real shift is not external behavior, it is internal release. Releasing the need to impress, releasing the fear of loss, releasing the belief that you must prove your worth. Those two simple words work because they come from this state. They are not magic by themselves. They are powerful because they reflect emotional independence. And emotional independence is the rarest, most attractive signal there is. Once emotional independence becomes clear, something subtle but powerful begins to activate inside you. It is not confidence you force. It is not dominance you perform. It is a calm inner state where you no longer chase reactions, and that state changes everything before you say a single word. This is the emotional switch most people never learn to turn on. Attraction is not logical. It is not a checklist. It is emotional recognition. A woman does not decide to feel drawn to you. Her nervous system responds before her mind explains why. And her nervous system is always asking one question first. Is this man grounded within himself, or is he seeking something from me to feel complete? The moment you understand this, you stop trying to impress and start allowing presence to do the work. Presence is not silence. Presence is certainty. It is the feeling that you are comfortable standing exactly where you are, without needing anything in return. That feeling communicates safety. It communicates strength. It communicates that you are not here to take, convince, or pressure. Psychology shows that people relax when they feel no hidden demand. Most interactions fail because there is an invisible request behind the words. Validation, reassurance, confirmation. When that request disappears, curiosity appears. When pressure fades, interest has space to rise. This is where attraction quietly begins, not with excitement, but with ease, not with intensity, but with emotional clarity. Women feel drawn to men who are emotionally self-contained, men who do not to close distance, men who are okay with pauses, men who trust that connection grows naturally when it is not forced. The emotional switch happens when you stop asking, "How do I make her like me?" and start embodying, "I am already whole." That shift is felt instantly. Your voice slows, your body relaxes, your words become simpler and cleaner. You stop filling silence with noise. You stop explaining yourself unnecessarily. You allow things to unfold. This is not detachment, it is alignment. You are still interested, you are still present, but you are not gripping the outcome. And that lack of grip is what creates polarity. Desire lives in polarity. When you are centered, the other person feels room to lean in. What most men mistake for confidence is actually control, trying to steer conversations, trying to maintain momentum, trying to avoid losing interest. But real confidence does not manage perception, it trusts reality. It allows attraction to rise or fall without panic. That emotional steadiness is rare, and rarity creates value. When you flip this switch, you stop needing permission to be yourself. You stop adjusting your energy to match hers. You remain grounded whether she responds fast or slow, whether she leans in or pulls back. That consistency communicates something deeper than words ever could. It says, "I trust myself." This is why attraction often grows when you pull back emotionally, not physically. You are not withdrawing interest, you are withdrawing need. And when need disappears, authenticity steps forward. That authenticity is felt immediately. Those two words you are about to learn are powerful because they come from this internal state. They do not chase, they do not persuade, they signal emotional permission. They tell the other person, without tension, that choice is free. And when choice is free, desire awakens. The real shift is not what you say, it is who you become before you say it. Once that emotional switch is on, attraction stops being something you seek and starts being something you allow. And here is where everything becomes clear. Because when that inner state is solid, language stops being decoration and starts being transmission. Words stop trying to get a result and start reflecting who you are. That is why these two words work instantly, not as a trick, but as a signal that reaches deeper than logic. The words are simple, almost invisible. Take your time. On the surface, they sound ordinary, but emotionally, they carry enormous weight. They tell her there is no pressure, no demand, no hidden agenda. They say you are not rushing, not clinging, not afraid of losing. They communicate that you respect her freedom and trust your own value enough to let things unfold naturally. Psychologically, this activates something powerful. The human mind relaxes when it feels choice instead of expectation. Desire cannot exist under pressure. It only grows where autonomy is honored. When you say take your time, you remove urgency from the interaction. And when urgency disappears, curiosity replaces it. These words quietly flip the emotional dynamic. Most men unknowingly say the opposite, even when they don't use those exact words. Their energy says hurry, decide, respond, choose me. That energy creates resistance. Take your time dissolves it. It communicates patience without passivity, interest without attachment. There is also something deeper happening. These words signal self-trust. You are not afraid of silence. You are not threatened by delay. You are not trying to lock anything down. That emotional steadiness feels rare because it is. And rarity creates attraction. When you say take your time, you are not stepping back from interest. You are stepping forward into confidence. Why? Owa saying without saying it, I am grounded. I am okay. I am not here to chase. That message lands before the mind can analyze it. The nervous system feels it first. This is why these words feel relieving instead of impressive. They lower defenses. They create safety. And safety is the foundation of desire. A woman feels seen, not managed, respected, not pressured, free, not cornered, and freedom is magnetic. Notice how different this feels from trying to convince. There is no performance here, No clever phrasing, just emotional clarity. You are giving permission instead of seeking approval. That reversal is powerful. But these words only work when they are true, when they come from a place of calm certainty, not strategy. If you say them while hoping for a reaction, the energy leaks. If you say them while trusting yourself, the energy lands. This is why the transformation is internal first. Take your time. Reflects that you are already complete. That you are not waiting for her response to decide your worth. That you value connection, but you do not depend on it. And when a woman feels that, something shifts inside her. The pressure to perform disappears. The fear of disappointing fades. Curiosity grows. She leans in emotionally because she is not being pushed. These two words are not about slowing things down. They are about removing fear. And when fear leaves, desire has room to rise naturally. This is not magic because it manipulates. It is magic because it aligns. It aligns your words with emotional independence. It aligns interaction with freedom. And when freedom is present, attraction follows without force. And something deeper begins to happen when you carry these words inside you, not just on your lips. The real change is not how she reacts. It is how you start to see yourself. When you stop rushing outcomes, your nervous system settles. When you stop needing confirmation, your identity strengthens. When you stop chasing, you reclaim yourself. Take your time is not just something you say to her. It becomes something you live. You stop pushing life forward out of fear. You stop measuring your worth by responses, replies, or results. You begin to move at your own pace from your own center. That alone changes the way people experience you. Psychology shows that self-regulation is deeply attractive. A man who can stay calm under uncertainty signals emotional maturity. He signals strength without aggression. He signals that his value is stable, not dependent. That stability creates trust, and trust is what allows desire to deepen instead of collapse. When you internalize this mindset, you stop scanning for signs of approval. You stop interpreting every pause as rejection. Silence becomes neutral instead of threatening. Time becomes an ally instead of an enemy. You begin to feel grounded even when nothing is happening. That is power. This is where confidence becomes real, not loud, not performative. Real confidence is the absence of panic. It is the ability to remain present without controlling. It is the strength to allow things to grow naturally or fade gracefully. That emotional freedom is felt immediately by others. You also stop abandoning yourself to keep connection alive. You no longer overextend, overgive, or overexplain. You respect your own boundaries because you are no longer afraid of being left. And when you respect yourself, others feel it. They respond differently. Conversations feel cleaner. Interactions feel lighter. What changes most is your posture toward life. You stop living in anticipation of outcomes and start living in alignment with who you are. That alignment brings clarity. You choose rather than wait to be chosen. You participate without attachment. You show interest without surrendering control of your emotional state. This is not indifference. It is self-respect. You still care. You are still open. But you are not empty without a response. You are not diminished by delay. You are not defined by her decision. That independence is rare, and rarity draws attention. As this becomes natural, attraction becomes a byproduct instead of a goal. You are no longer trying to be magnetic, you simply are. And when you are, people sense it without needing proof. They feel calm around you. They feel safe to be themselves. They feel drawn without understanding why. The most important shift happens quietly. You begin to trust yourself. You trust your timing. You trust that you do not need to rush life to be worthy of connection. That trust settles into your voice, your movements, your presence, and from that place, whether interest grows or not, you remain intact. You remain whole. You remain centered. That is the deepest form of confidence a man can have. These two words change attraction because they change you first. They dissolve fear. They anchor self-worth. They restore balance. And when balance is present, desire is free to emerge without force. This is not about getting someone. It is about becoming someone who no longer needs to chase. And when that happens, attraction stops being a struggle and starts feeling natural, calm, and inevitable. And this is where everything settles into truth, because the real power was never in the words alone. It was always in your willingness to let go. Let go of forcing outcomes, let go of measuring your worth through attention, let go of the belief that you must hurry life to feel chosen. When you stop chasing, you don't lose opportunity, you gain clarity. You begin to see who meets you with ease and who only responds to effort. You stop confusing intensity with connection. You stop mistaking anxiety for desire. And that clarity protects you. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you honest with yourself. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means standing firm without gripping. It means showing interest without fear. It means trusting that what aligns with you will not require you to abandon yourself. That trust changes how you walk into every interaction. Calm replaces urgency. Presence replaces performance. Action from this place looks different. You speak when you feel aligned, not when you feel afraid of silence. You express interest without attachment to outcome. You step forward without dragging your self-worth behind you. And when you say take your time, it is not strategy, it is truth. You actually mean it. Psychology shows that people are drawn to emotional consistency. When your energy does not spike or crash based on response, you become stable. Stability feels safe. Safety invites closeness, and closeness, when it is not forced, grows into attraction. You will notice that life starts responding differently. Conversations feel smoother. You feel less reactive. You stop overthinking. You stop waiting for signals to decide how to feel. You decide first. That decision anchors you. There will be moments where old habits try to return, the urge to check, the urge to push, the urge to secure certainty. When that happens, pause, breathe. Remember that attraction is not created by control. It is created by presence, and presence requires trust. Trust that you are enough without immediate validation. Trust that connection unfolds at its own pace. Trust that you do not need to chase what is meant to meet you. This trust is not passive. It is powerful. It allows you to act without fear. From this place, you stop fearing rejection because rejection no longer defines you. It becomes information, not a verdict. You remain open, not wounded, curious, not closed. That emotional resilience is strength. The goal was never to attract every woman. The goal was to stop abandoning yourself in the process of trying. When you stand rooted in your own worth, the right connections feel natural, effortless, mutual. Carry these words with you, not as a line, but as a mindset. Move through life with patience instead of pressure, with clarity instead of anxiety, with self-respect instead of fear. That shift will change how people feel around you long before they understand why. Attraction stops being something you chase and becomes something that recognizes you. And when that happens, you no longer need to convince, prove, or perform. You simply show up as you are, grounded, calm, and certain. That is the quiet power of letting go. That is the strength of emotional independence. And once you step into it, you will never need to chase connection again, because the right energy always finds its way to what is aligned. The full 6-section script is now complete and fully aligned with your original requirements. If you'd like, I can refine tone, tighten language, adapt it for shorts, or rewrite it in another language while preserving the same emotional power.